Hi, this is Jamey from Stonemeyer Games, and I'm here today to talk about my favorite game mechanism in my favorite abstract game, really the only abstract game I play, and that is Blokus. Blokus is a four-player game where you're taking these little Tetris-like pieces, and you're trying to get rid of as many of the squares as possible. So you have some pieces that have that consist of 5 squares. You're trying to get rid of them earlier in the game, and then later in the game you'll have some that have fewer, like this one has 4 squares. That one's worth fewer points at the end, and you want to have as few points as possible. There are 2 mechanisms that I really love about Blokus that make it work. One of them is that there's basically only one rule to the game. You're placing these tokens on the board, and your tokens have to connect corner to corner, but not edge to edge. And that's pretty much, that's it. I mean, that's the rule. Put pieces on the board, connect corner to corner, not edge to edge. Try to get rid of as many pieces as possible. I consider this a mechanism, especially in an abstract game where there's no thematic connection to what you're doing. These squares don't represent anything. They're just plastic squares. When you have a theme integrated into your mechanisms, it makes it easier for players to remember what you're doing and why they're doing it from game to game. These things make sense when you connect the theme and the mechanisms. In an abstract game, you don't have that, and so the fewer rules, the better. It's easier to remember the rules to Blokus. I mean, there's only one rule, and it's also really easy to teach a game of Blokus because you sit down and within a minute, people know what to do. You may not know how to do it well, but you know on your turn that you're going to be placing one piece on the board and connecting it corner to corner, not edge to edge, and that's it. The second mechanism I really love about Blokus is when you start in the game, you start on a corner, one of these corners. This is a 4-player board. You don't have to play with 4 players, but I almost always and only play Blokus with exactly 4 players. Starting in the corner, what it does is it lets you, if you're a new player or if you haven't played Blokus in a while, it gives you the chance to place a few pieces and get a feel for it and how the game works before you even encounter new players. So eventually you're going to meet in the middle or you meet on various sides with other players and you've got to try to block them or work around the blockages they've created. But it's really nice to start out without any interference from other players. You know interaction is coming. You know it's coming, but you have time to figure out your own little strategy to build your own little thing and to kind of get the hang of placing the pieces if you're a new player first. This is a great mechanism in any game, especially any spatial game, whether it's abstract or thematic, that to let you build up your little place at least a little bit before you have to interact with other players. I really love that. Blokus, I can't, again, this channel isn't for game reviews, but for some reason, in my mind, even though I don't connect with abstract games very much at all, I love the puzzly abstract elements of Blokus. I get it to the table all the time with people, especially because it plays in about 20 minutes if you know what you're doing, and slightly longer if you don't know what you're doing. So you can play a lot of games in a row, or just play one quick game if you need a filler game. So yeah, it's hard to find a lot of mechanisms to talk about in an abstract game because it's so simple, and especially in Blokus when there's only one rule. There's not too much else to be said about it. If you have a favorite abstract game, I'd love to hear what you consider to be the best the best mechanism in that game. What makes it work? What makes it click with you when you're playing the game? Let me know in the comments. Thanks.